4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And I'm Lovey. And we want to thank you for coming back. We always do, because you do have lots of choices, and we're just really overwhelmed with gratitude that you choose to spend a little bit of time with us as we discuss all things marriage.
So let me just kind of say something real quick.
Nope.
You said two things, gratitude and being overwhelmed. So I wanted to just give a shout out to everybody for continuing to rock with us. We're in a very busy season right now. And I don't want you guys to think that we take it lightly when y'all come in and hear us sit down and chit chat. We may not be getting out as many podcasts as we normally would. But again, because this season right now is really crazy. But I just want to say thank you for continuing to rock with us and granting us grace through this period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And please continue to go over to marriedintocrazy.com. That's where you can learn about all the different things that we're doing. So we're busy with couples, with individuals, with our clients, but we're also doing things preparing for the Married Into Crazy Winter Ball and Marriage Conference that's coming up in February. And we just got notified today that
we did.
that we have somebody that's flying out from Maryland. They already booked their tickets.
Already got their tickets. I was
So
like, we better get on it for real.
Yeah, there's no backing out now. Look, we got folks booking flights and coming out. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be a great time. Mm-hmm. So definitely go to marriedintocrazy.com, and soon and very soon, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, you will see information on there with all the details on how to secure your seat to be with these amazing speakers that we have lined up. And even more importantly, having an amazing date night on that Friday with a live band and a banquet and just having a great time setting the mood for the next day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's October, y'all.
Is it October?
Because
it felt like July today. As a matter of fact, it felt like July Monday and yesterday. So
yeah. I don't understand this, but out here in California, it's October 3rd, and it was
100
the second day in 100 degrees.
It was 100 and something. Yeah.
It was 103 today.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to get cold like 2 days before not Thanksgiving, 2 days before Halloween.
And freeze everybody out. Yeah. Exactly. No, but it's interesting. The weather's changing, but so the seasons are supposed to be changing right now, and I welcome it if it does. But seasons change within our relationships as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a great reminder. But here's the thing: we want to keep your relationship hot, right? We want your marriage to be hot, not just honest, open, and transparent, but we also wanted to keep it sizzling, right? There's got to be a little bit of got to get some spice to it to make sure that no matter if you've been married 1 year, 5 years, 25 years, 35 years, however long, that there's always something that is really, spicing it up for you to make sure that you always want to come back.
You want to make sure you're doing the things that your partner likes, that you like, that you guys that you both appreciate, like, what is it? The 5 love languages,
true.
Knowing your partner's love language, knowing your love language also. Can you name them?
Well, hold on. But what's kind of crazy though?
That's a stall tactic, but go ahead.
No, but what I think is really interesting is that you said you need to know, you got to know what they like and all of that. It changes. Because I was thinking about seasons. When you were saying that, I was thinking, when the seasons change, likes change. I know that the things that I liked 25 years ago, have shifted.
Yeah, I used to didn't like zucchini, but now I do.
I wasn't just talking about what you
saying,
eat.
I know. I'm just saying, but that was the first thing that came to mind. Talking about things change, you develop your palate, whatever, not just your taste palate, but your palate changes.
Your love palate.
Your love. Hey, I like that. Love palate.
We coined it. It's ours. Don't be going out there trying to write a book about the love palate.
The love palate. You got to say it sexy, baby.
Your love palate. what we want to do, though, is, but think about it. Okay, let's get back to the love languages. I know that, so there's 5 love languages.
5 love languages.
Right? There's quality time.
Got it.
There's acts of service.
Acts of service.
Physical touch.
Physical touch.
Excuse me. I'm missing.
You're missing 2. My favorite one.
Which one?
Gifts.
Oh, gifts. Gifts. And
words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. So there's 5. And I know that over time, mine have shifted.
That's funny because I just said my favorite one is gifts. It has never been gifts before. I'm thinking I'm in the gift spirit right now. I'm in the gift receiving season. So yeah.
So let me ask you something. So do you know your spouse's or your significant other's 5 love languages? Not what it used to be. I'm talking about, do you know it now? If you've been together for, let's say, any amount of time. I mean, let's say greater than 5 years. And you knew that it was physical touch. Is it still physical touch?
Yeah.
No, you're guesstimating, but have you had a conversation?
I've not had a conversation, but I am guesstimating that yours is physical touch.
Mine used to be physical touch.
Oh, so we've been doing a little switching up. Okay.
So this is a good example. All right, let's get into this. So for years, mine was always physical touch, and it's still very high on my list. But quality time is my number 1.
Okay.
And
I can see that. And
things change, right? Life situations change.
Yeah.
Things happen to you. Things happen to your family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Things. I don't know. It's situational, right? So as the seasons change and as things shift, kind of like sand, like if you think about a desert, how the landscape of the desert. I mean, the desert is always the desert, but when the wind blows, those sand dunes, they shift. You go to sleep one night and everything looks a certain way. You wake up and just because the way the wind has been blowing, the entire landscape has completely changed. Mm-hmm. The way the dunes are formed, everything. It's the same desert, but the winds have blown and shifted the sands. Shifted. It's still the same sand. It's just shifted into another formation, if you will.
Yeah. And
so I feel like my love languages, they all exist to a certain degree, but they've shifted. And because of the things we've gone through with Kaylin, with Isaiah, with us traveling more, quality time is far and away my number 1.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see that too. Not even taken away from what happened with Kaylin and even with Isaiah, but even in the space that we're in right now, it's hard for us to get some good quality time because, like I said earlier, we're in a season of we're going all the time. So that is high. It's like, oh, we were able to sit down on the couch today and watch 10 minutes of football together. And that was cool because we were right next to each other, big old couch and everything. But
and that filled my cup.
We're just right there. So yeah, they do change with life experiences. They're, like you said, changing, evolving over time based on life experiences, things that have changed. Relationship dynamics, because our relationship dynamic is not what it used to be.
Amen. But
not
it's so
what
funny.
It used to be.
Those 10 minutes we spent sitting next to each other, just her hand on my shoulder, my hand on her leg, watching football for 10 minutes. There was a point in my life I wanted to spend 10 minutes with her doing something completely different.
He is still there. Stop acting like that.
Yeah, but it's there. But I'm just saying. But it's funny. Like my cup was filled because we were able just to sit there and we talked a little bit while we were watching the game and catching up. And It's really good.
That was kind of, there's the quality time, but there were two in that physical touch. I think a lot of times you think physical touch, we're talking, most people go to sex, we always touch. So like when he's in the bed, when we're both in the bed, he could be asleep. I'll reach over, put my foot on him or something. He'll reach over, he'll have his arm on me. That's just what we do. So there's always an element somewhere of us touching each other.
That's so true. It's funny because I'm conditioned. So even when I travel for work, if I'm in a hotel,
well, you go get a different broad so you can touch her.
Trying. No, I'll actually take the pillows. You usually have like 4 pillows on the bed, right? Like if you get like a king size bed or a queen, and they usually get like 4 pillows. I'll actually line up
the pillows.
Okay. 2 of the pillows. So that way when I'm asleep, if I roll over, I feel like my back is against you or my side is against you. So it is wild. And I always make it a point. This is so funny. If I'm there for an extended time, like 2-3 days or whatever, and the service is going to come clean up, I always make sure that I move the pillows back to the head of the bed because I don't want them to walk in and think somebody's laying in the bed.
Oh, got you.
And then walk out and then not clean the room.
So I'm going to say something right now. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I don't know if you saying that you rolling up to the pillow, I'm squishy. So I need to cut back on my quality time with the food. What are you saying?
No. I'm saying, sometimes it's nice because the pillows don't complain when I fart on it.
Oh. Yeah, you better keep them pillows in because
We did say we discuss all things marriage. When I move the covers, they don't complain.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, that's a whole other podcast.
Yes, please don't. So you said that your number one, if you had to rate them though, I don't know if that's fair to ask. If you had to rate them from number one, the most important to the least important for yourself, how would you rank them? Do you know?
Yeah, I'd go number one for me would be quality time, then physical touch, maybe acts of service, third, words of affirmation, fourth, and what's the last one? Gifts. Gifts is always low on my. I don't know why. It's always been that way. Gifts has always been the very last thing.
You know why I don't get gifts?
And wait. Let's sit there for a second. And that's usually problematic when it comes to the 5 love languages. If you know your love language, generally speaking, the thing that is lowest on yours may end up being high on the other individuals. And because it's low on, like for instance, gifts are low on mine, I don't always think to get gifts for her because it doesn't really hold a high level of importance
the value,
for me.
Yeah.
And so but today I try to do acts of service and gifts because here's a great example. I wanted to, because we've been doing so much, like I've been traveling, she's been traveling, or not traveling, but working a lot of hours between the job and also through internship and meeting with clients there and providing therapy. And she comes home and she's exhausted. We haven't been getting the quality time that I necessarily want. So I was like, oh, hey, come Thursday or Friday, let's have a date night because I'm getting ready to leave out of town again. I'm heading to Nashville. And she was like, I can't because I have class, not class, but I have therapy, and then I got these papers I need to get done, this, that, and the other. And so I thought, well, okay. And I'm not going to lie. My feelings were kind of.
He was in them.
I was in my feelings. I got hurt a little bit. But not because she was doing it intentionally. It's just the season that we're in. So I thought, okay, well, what can I do? I actually ordered her flowers and had them delivered to the job. It was a 2-day process because I didn't know that there was different buildings within this particular site. And so they tried to deliver it yesterday and failed. So they were able to deliver it today. But it was kind of like an act of service, but also a gift. I wanted to make sure at the very minimum that she knows that she's appreciated and loved. I tell her all the time, but I think the gifts, I knew what you liked to a certain extent. And so I extended that.
That could be bribery though. like, you trying to bribe me? No, I'm playing.
No, not at all.
I'm totally playing. No, but what you said earlier, and I did appreciate the flowers. They were beautiful. I was surprised. But what you said earlier, going back to what's low on your acts of service, your love language is something that you don't think to do for the other person because it's not top of mind. We typically, and this is generalizing, obviously, we typically do what our love language is for the other person because we're like, oh, that's my jam, so I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. But that act of love language may not hold the value to the other person, to your spouse, to your partner, as it does to you. So I did say I'm in a season of receiving gifts. Gifts have never been my love language. I ain't gonna lie, I love gifts, but it's not like a requirement. When I get them, I'm totally surprised. I love it. So when I joked around earlier, I was like, is that why I don't get gifts? That does
gifts.
Make sense.
She got a brand new Lexus with a big old red bow on top.
That was a necessity. What are you talking about?
It wasn't a gift. It had a
ribbon. It a gift?
It had a bow.
Was it a gift? Was it a gift? We're not even going to talk about this car. We are not going to talk about my new baby.
Put the red bow on top of the white car.
He did do that. He did do that because every Christmas, I'm like, I just want to do that. I want to go outside and I want to see a new car with a big giant red ribbon on top. And when we bought the car, he asked the guy, he goes, you have ribbons? And the guy was like, what? He goes, do you have a red ribbon? Because she wants a red ribbon. That's her favorite commercial, is the Lexus Christmas commercial. And the guy was like, I got you.
It's so funny because I checked in with him like 6 times as we're going through.
He didn't
doing
care
everything.
about nothing about price.
Look, before I cut the check, I was like, look, hey,
that's all he talked about.
Where is the ribbon? I was like, I know I'm buying a car, but I'm buying that ribbon too.
I need that ribbon. We didn't get to keep it, but
no, I didn't. No, it was funny though.
No, but it's important for us to go back and reevaluate our love languages, not just for our partner, but also for ourselves too. Because like I said, the thing that they're doing may not hold the value to you, and they're thinking they're doing, they on it, and you're like, oh, okay, and pretty soon that's going to cause some type of conflict in your communication and just the way you guys are interacting, because to him, he's like, what's the problem? I'm doing all this. And you're like, yeah, but you're not doing this. And so to him or to the other person, you may look like you're ungrateful. And to you, you may like, are you paying attention? So
right. And don't look, make sure your communication is at a high level. Mm-hmm. Don't sit there just because love language shifts. I don't want to hear or get emails about the love language shift. So I know he's messing around, or I know she should. What made you shift? It used to be this. You liked it all these years. Why'd you change? Because we're supposed to.
I mean, yeah.
We are supposed to change over time. Mm-hmm. We are not meant to be the same animals that we were when we first met.
I mean, there are some different caveats to that, too. If you liked physical touch and now all of a sudden when I touch you, you can't stand it, that might be,
that's a whole other conversation.
May need to have a conversation. So.
Luckily, we know some great marriage coaches.
We do, don't we?
Marriedintocrazy.com. And it's one of those things where, but it will shift. And not like, and I love the way you said it, too, is that not only should we be thinking about it shifting for our spouse, but also for ourselves. Mm-hmm. But honestly, when it's all said and done, what should we be doing? Checking in. We always talk about the check-in, and we talk about how how are we doing? How are things going? How are you feeling? Well, there needs to be a check-in about let's get back to basics. Had a conversation with somebody very recently, and this one person said like something that was really, really poignant. It's like, is your favorite color still XYZ? And it sounds funny, but it's very real.
But it is very real. And those are the type of things I think that we do take for granted, because we figured, oh, I know this person. Oh yeah, I already know they're not gonna, just like we talked about, we went to Mexico and I did the zip lining, and Lovey we were trying to find stuff to do, and he was in his mind, he's like, well, I'm not even gonna say anything about this because I already know she's not gonna do it. But I was open, so I was like, hey, do you want to do the zip line? And he was like, wait, what? So don't count your partner out because of things that have happened, or that they did not want to do in the past. All you have to do is, the worst they can say is no.
Mm-hmm. Does that go for sex too? Can we try that thing?
No.
The trapeze.
No. No.
You sure?
I said no 3 times.
Okay, not this season.
We're next.
I'm gonna come back to it. I'm trying to install that pole in the bedroom, y'all, and the trapeze, and no.
I was about to say, don't even go there with the pole, because you said no about the pole.
At one time, she wanted to do that whole fitness thing, like, I want to get a pole, and
maybe
please.
That's why I said it was just for fitness, but I mean,
yeah, no, we got daughters. Last thing I would have been like, I saw mommy on the pole. No, that ain't happening. Ain't happening.
You are so crazy.
Revisit, reevaluate, check in with each other. And we're talking 5 love languages, but don't let it stop there. Talk about a lot of different things. He's like, hey, you're I remember we used to get happy when we used to make lasagna.
Pizza
or whatever, right? And now it's like, you don't seem to get as excited. Yeah, I'm not so into it anymore. But you know what I really like? I like, your tacos. Snooks makes these tacos that have been in favor for 25 years, longer. So as long as she's been making them, and like we still come back to them. But there may come a day where it's like, I'm not feeling tacos anymore. Yeah. I don't anticipate that, but you never know.
Then I'm gonna be looking like, wait, you used to like all my tacos? Who you getting tacos from now?
All right.
But another thing too, we're thinking about is when you reinvestigate or redevelop your love languages, that's another way of increasing your intimacy. Now I'm loving you, or I'm doting on you in the way which you prefer, not just about how I think you would like, So
that's and it requires, and I think as we go along, we get more and more transparent. Because the trust has been developed over a period of time. And so we're able to honestly and authentically share what we like. Because let's just be honest, early on in a relationship, many times all you guys are going to say, oh no, I was authentic. I let them know how I feel. But I think there's a degree of holding back. Like you might say A and B, but you might not go so far as to say C. To say that one other thing that you do like or you don't like, because it brings the other person so much joy, or so you think. So you're like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything because I can tolerate it. Don't do that. Make sure you're being absolutely honest, because then what happens is that's an air of inauthenticity, if there's such a word. And a person will continue to do things because they think that's your love language, or they think that's something that you like. And if it's not truly the case, then it's a whole different conversation when you say like, well, I thought you liked this. Well, actually I haven't, and I never really liked it, but I didn't say anything. Then they start to think, they could start to think.
Yeah. What else have you held back from me? Because that becomes a matter of trust too.
Yep.
You didn't feel like you could trust me to be honest about this thing that I was doing that you told me you liked. So I could have been doing something different. Maybe I didn't even want to do that. I don't know.
But it's definitely worth it. So when you reevaluate, make sure you look at, don't just limit it to the 5 love languages, but definitely take a look at a lot of different things. And you know what? When you have your date night, when you're sitting down and having a conversation, even if you're sitting out on your porch or in your backyard, if you're out camping, whatever, be intentional about the conversations you have so you can say, hey, you know what? Let's go back to basics for a moment. Do you still like this, that, and the other? Or do you still talk to, that friend of yours that you had way back when? And, that person used to be so important to you. What shifted? What changed? If you don't already know. I mean, it just, these little things. It's like, oh, well, they did this. There was a character flaw, what have you. And why is that so important to you? You'll be very surprised at where the conversations can lead and how deep they get and how enriching they can be. And again, it lends itself to the intimacy of your relationship.
Yep. And it'll cut back on conflict resolution. I mean, it will cut back on conflict,
Oh, no, that's true, because there could be a lot of conflict. So it's almost as if just having that conversation is a way to proactively get in front of conflict resolution. Look, we're human beings. We each have our own DNA. And so there's always going to be an opportunity for conflict. What do we used to always say? Conflict is inevitable,
but combat is optional.
And so we can avoid the combat through conversation. Ooh, that's a book.
That's bars, babe.
Avoid combat through conversation.
Avoiding combat through conversation.
Yep, that's a marriage book right there. No, but it's the truth. So, I mean, think about these things as you sit down and have these conversations. And quite honestly, as we're closing out the year, as a matter of fact, today we're taping this on October 3rd. There's exactly 90 days left in the year. If you wanted to create a 90-day plan, I count it. Because it's 2 months with 31 days.
Because I was like, wait, hold on.
So it's exactly 90 days.
That is crazy. 90 days?
Left in the year. And so if you wanted to create like a 90-day plan or a quarterly plan, maybe it's now to have a conversation with your spouse about, hey, for the next 90 days, let's work on our communication. Let's get back to basics. Let's find out if what was important 5, 10, 15 years ago is just as important to you today, or has it shifted? Just like you know what? You didn't tell me. How would you rate your 5 love languages?
How would I rate them? I don't know.
Physical touch is your number 1. No.
I think, like you, I think quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and gifts.
Gifts is your last?
I mean, I'm used to not getting any gifts, so.
Wow. Shots fired. Shots fired. Okay. All right. I take back everything I said. Don't revisit anything. I'm not shifting. No.
I mean that because I try to thinking of it in a way of, if I didn't receive that, how would I feel? Like if I didn't get quality time, how would that affect me? If I didn't hear words of affirmation, how would it affect me? If there were no acts of service, how would it affect me?
So you put words of affirmation above acts of service?
I think so. Yeah. I like when you guys, to me, that does something for me.
It's interesting because acts of service used to be your number 1. So.
But y'all was doing the wrong stuff. So.
Wow.
Y'all was messing up stuff. So
messed it up for everybody. That's funny.
I'm playing.
But no,
I mean, that's just on the spot in this moment as I'm sitting down right now,
Oh, so it could shift like next week?
It could shift in 5 minutes when I really sit and think about it, Like I said, how would that affect me? But then I thought, well, shoot, if there's no physical touch, then, yeah, that would affect me too. So,
That's wild.
I have 4 number 1s and 1 number 2.
Okay. I got some work ahead of me. So you got some work to do, homie.
You got some work to do.
Listen, folks. We enjoy talking with you, but more importantly, we really enjoyed especially when we get like an email or some type of communication.
Love the emails. Yeah.
That lets us know. And you can always reach us at coaching@marriedintocrazy.com. And so we love getting those emails like, hey, that time that you guys said this, or there's comments a lot of times on social media like, oh, we love this. And man, you were on point when you said this, or I felt that, or what have you. It lets us know that that we're providing information or interviews or subject matter experts that really make a difference for your relationship. We have this calling and we know it's a calling. And when we hear from you, it really inspires us to continue to do what we do. Because we don't have to do this. We could just be like, we could be very gluttonous about our relationship and just continue to live the way that we do. But we believe that we're supposed to be pouring into all of you as well. And it makes a difference. And so take these things that we talk about, have a conversation with your spouse, and more importantly, I honestly believe this, that conversation is great, but have conversations with other couples. Couples pouring into other couples in your community. Surrounding yourself with other couples that are as down for your marriage as they are for theirs. Right? And then that way we invest in each other and we lift each other up. It's iron sharpening iron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. This just kind of came to mind too. Sometimes you just made the comment about talking to other couples. If you don't have a couple to talk to, hit us up on email. We'll talk to you.
Coaching at marriedintocrazy.com. You'd be surprised. We've actually gotten on Zooms with couples just real quick just to chop it up. They go ahead and schedule on those discovery calls, and you know what? And they get something out of it. And then, they don't always become clients, but we definitely love the opportunity to pour into you. And
that's true. And I know this is off the top of my head, but we are going to plan a Married into Crazy couples game night.
Yes,
I have some ideas, so we're gonna plan that, and we'll let y'all know. You can join us virtually or whatever.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So hey, hope you got something out of this particular episode. Tell another couple. There's somebody out there that you're thinking of during this episode, like, oh, they should have heard this, or they should listen. Send it to them. Share this episode. Share whatever venue you're on, whether you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, if you're watching us on YouTube, Spotify, audible.com, wherever you may be listening. Definitely share it with somebody else and lift up their marriage as well.
Yep.
So until the next time.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.